You guys are doing well. Hope you guys can hear me. Um, yeah, happy Thursday. I'm really, really happy that a bunch of you guys have showed up today to get on this call. And yeah, we can start shortly. But I'm Ramel. I'm here with Five Jump today, and we're gonna have a really, really great discussion on how you guys can. Okay, somebody has a note taker on how you on how you guys can really maximize the amount of interviews that you're getting. So, really excited to have everybody here. We have a lot of people. We have about three note takers in here. I'm gonna stop allowing some of these note takers in here. Um, but yeah, thank you guys so much for joining. And I guess just to start it off, where's everybody? Where y'all located, right? Just please, drop a comment where you located. What city, what state? Boston. Awesome. Yeah, Michelle. Michelle. Awesome. Michael in New York. All right, Cito. Nice to see y'all. Orlando. Ahmed, Arizona. Nice. Temple. Fairfax. Yeah, thank you guys. Thank you guys. And also, feel free if you all want to get on camera. This is gonna be like more of a discussion, right? Than anything. It's going to be more of a discussion. It's going to be, people are going to be able to get off mute, ask questions. I'm actually going to get people involved in this, right? So it's not just me talking the whole time. And Amari, New York, nice, 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 nice. Shout out to New York. What part of New York? I was raised in the city. So could you say that one more time? Oh, yeah, okay, maybe that was an accident. Okay, Amari said he's in Queens, but now from Brooklyn. Okay, yeah, that's me too. Brooklyn. Uh, I'm biased, but I definitely think that's the best borough. Um, and no matter what borough you're from, you can probably agree that Staten Island is last. Uh,
Indeed.
indeed, yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you got that right.
Um, awesome. We're gonna give it a few more minutes, and then we're gonna let people join. But yeah, glad everybody's here. Seems like a lot of people on the East Coast. Yeah. And again, if you guys want to get off mute, like I'm sorry, off put your cameras on, feel free. It'll be easier for me to like figure out who I can kind of like call on and we can kind of when we have more interactive portions. Awesome. Thank you. Awesome. Yeah. So I see some people. Max is off mute. What's going on, Max? Amari from New York. Nice. Micheline, thank you. Let's see. Okay, it's just us. That's with the cameras on. Okay. I think at least two more people could put the cameras on. At least we got a good amount of people in here. At least two more people. Somebody wants to. We want to see so we can start. Awesome. Abu Bakar. How do you pronounce your name? I'm sorry, I don't want
Abu
to.
Bakr. Abu Bakr.
Abu Bakar.
Yes, perfect.
Awesome. Thank you so much for putting your
Of
camera on.
course.
Thank you. I'm happy. Yeah, I'm happy to see everybody.
Yeah, same.
Awesome. Okay. We still need one more. We need one more person, one more camera, and then we could get started. Okay, awesome. Calvin. Yes. Thank you. Thank you, Calvin. Thank you. And Cito. Awesome. Thank you all. I appreciate it. Awesome. Okay, cool. So yeah, let's get started. I know I kind of asked people to like put where they're from. We had like a lot of different places. Alabama, Mobile, Alabama, Fairfax, Virginia. We have Queens. Um, sorry, let me actually say the names. Michelin from Boston, Carlos in New York, Michael in New York, Max in Boston, Kenny in Ontario, nice. Canada, nice, nice. Cito in Orlando. We have Vanessa in Jacksonville. Thank you. Ahmed in Arizona, Charles in Mobile, Alabama. Awesome. And then Akila. I pray I'm pronouncing your name wrong. If not, please get off mute, correct me. Akila in Fairfax, Virginia.
Yeah, you pronounced it right.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining. Okay. Yeah, and Amari used to be in Queens, now Brooklyn. And who else did I miss? Abu Bakr
Oh, I
is
didn't realize it was off mute.
in
That's
Connecticut.
Brown. In Queens now, from Brooklyn.
Oh, okay, got you,
K
got you,
all
got
day,
you.
baby.
Yeah, exactly. That's funny. Yeah, and then we got Abukar, that's in Connecticut, and Sparty in Atlanta. Awesome. Spurthy. Sorry about that. Again, if I mispronounce anybody's names, please come off mute, correct me, so that I can be corrected. Cool. All right, so let's get it started. Yeah, so just a little bit of background for today, right? My name is Ramel Bailey. I'm a software engineer at Amazon, right? But before I was even working at Amazon, I created FiveJump because I really wanted to see a lot of people build successful careers in this industry, in this space. And right, that was about 3 years ago. That was at a time where the economy was better. That was at a time where, we weren't seeing like the layoffs that we're seeing, and things were a lot easier. However, still during that time, it was very difficult to get a job. It was very difficult to get involved in this space, starting off as an entry level. And my story started off with not being able to get a job for over a year, right? Not being able to get a job, an internship, any type of position, and then, finally starting to get interviews, failing tons and tons of interviews for over a year, and then finally, passing an interview, um, and then understanding the process a little bit better, and working to create more programs to help people pass interviews, to help people become better software engineers in general, right? So yeah, so I've been doing this for a little bit, and always happy to like help and lend a hand, right? Provide all the knowledge that I can so that other people can be successful. Uh, cool. So let's get started. So how can we go from zero to multiple interviews a week as a software engineer, right? So again, you know, right now, we're seeing something that we haven't really seen before as far as applying for jobs. We're seeing there's a lot of competition because of layoffs. There's a lot of people who are graduating, and it's building up, right? The economy is in a funny state a bit. And then obviously people, it's a lot easier to apply now because we have all of these automation tools where people can apply with one click, right? So we're essentially at a time where the normal way that we apply is changing, right? And we have to adapt. And it's literally changing to the point where I've had many talks with recruiters, and they have explained because there are so many applicants, they just can't look at everybody's resume, right? So you can have the best resume, and if 2,000 people apply to a role where they're hiring one or two people, after they find enough people to interview, they're going to stop looking at the resumes, essentially, right? So there kind of has to be a different way that, we go about the process. Unless we just want to compete and just keep using all of those tools. Um, Open a big slideshow. So yeah, so I'm sure a lot of you guys have used some of these like automation tools, like JobRite or Simplify or whatever. There's a lot of people applying, like I said, and yeah, it's pretty tough for that. Yeah, so you see stuff like this all the time, right? In like a day or a few days, over thousands of people applying to a job. Even though this number here, they can't actually track how many people actually applied to the jobs. It's more of a number to track how many clicks the job has. So I do want people not to be deceived by that number. Um, but it's still a pretty big number, to say the least. Um, yeah. So pretty much the main problem we're seeing now, right? Why people are not getting interviews is because everything is changing, right? The world is changing, and we're still applying to jobs the same way. Maybe some people are using these automation tools to apply to jobs, and that will probably get you more jobs because you can apply to like 1,000 jobs in, I don't know, a week or a few weeks or so, right? But for the most part, the way people apply to jobs needs to change because the world is changing, right? So I guess the last thing I wanted to say before I get to this slide is just kind of give you guys an idea of like it's not just like entry people, it's not just people at certain levels who are struggling with these, with competing because there's so many applicants in a pool, right? So I've worked with people who have been in the industry for like 10, 15 years, help them build their resumes up to build strong resumes, and they're applying to jobs, whether it's in software engineering or um, cybersecurity, and they're getting rejections, you know, tons and tons of rejections, maybe applying to 50 jobs a week or 20 to 50 jobs a week, right? And again, these are people who they can do the work. They've been in the industry for a really, really long time, and they're not seeing success mainly because it's just a lot of applicants and their resume has not been viewed, right? But if we're able to get their resume viewed, they tend to have a lot better luck. Okay. So, yeah. So back in the day, um, maybe about 20 before like LinkedIn was really, really popular, right? We had platforms like Monster, we had platforms like Career Builder, and essentially these platforms were the really, really popular job boards back in the day. And essentially, candidates could apply to jobs, or besides applying to jobs, they could put their resumes in this database, right? And their resumes essentially were, you know, able to be put in a resume book, and recruiters would be able to look through these resumes books, and they would find candidates and they would call candidates up, right? And top candidates, their resumes would be stored, and they would consistently get calls every week. So essentially your phone would literally be ringing, possibly maybe you get 10 calls a week of somebody asking, "Hey, are you in the job market?" Right? This was kind of what we used to see. And nowadays, the strategy and the approach that we need is something similar to this, right? We need an approach where we're able, because there's so much competition, for the sake of your sanity, right? For the sake of you actually getting roles, you want to have the recruiters actually come to you. You want to have people be able to find you with the skills that you have, right? With the positions that they need filling. And that is kind of the best approach to take nowadays. And that's the most success that I'm seeing people have who are constantly like in this interview cycle, constantly in this interview loop. Yeah, so the better strategy is you want to get recruiters and you want to get recruiters to reach out to you, right? And if you're doing it right, you have a strong profile, you have like a good background, you can possibly get 2 to 10 recruiters reaching out to you a week at the moment, right? So this is something that's definitely doable. Um, and I guess just to give you guys an example, um, right? This is like an example of some of the stuff you can kind of see where you just have people like I took the screenshot today, right? So pretty much just recruiters and people hiring, just reaching out on a consistent basis. Um, some good jobs. Some are startups, some are actual name brand Fortune 500, some are like big tech companies. But yeah, you build your profile out. You can start to get stuff like this consistently. And this was the screenshot taken like just a bit ago. Uh, yeah. Does anybody have any questions or any like comments so far?
No, this has been really good so far.
Okay. Awesome. Thanks. Yeah. But yeah, so the main thing is, right, we want to have recruiters and we want to have companies reaching out to us by building, really, really good profiles, really strong profiles, and understanding like how this algorithm works. LinkedIn is like surprisingly very powerful. I shouldn't say surprisingly, but it's really powerful, right? You can use it for all kind of things. And then the main thing with getting recruiters to come to you is going to be you're going to have this strong resume or, strong resume, strong profile, and use other job boards. Um, and then if you want to maximize it even more, you know, do stuff like network, do stuff like set up calls. I know some of you guys have told me about this, how you're doing it, and it's working. It's helped you to get interviews like Max, like Micheline, right? You guys are like constantly setting up calls, constantly networking with people. Um, yeah. So one of the other things I wanted to kind of talk about was the actual algorithm, right? The reason that this like LinkedIn is so powerful, we have LinkedIn Recruiter, which is there's just the recruiter version of LinkedIn where they are able to search for candidates really, really fast, right? They have a lot of filters and a lot of features. And this algorithm is really powerful, right? Because it essentially shows the order of the candidates. It decides which order of candidates will pop up for recruiters. And actually, it impacts who they're going to reach out to, who they're going to find for a job, right? So this is something that we want to make sure like we understand how the algorithm works so we can be like on the positive side of the algorithm. And there's a bunch of fields, there's a bunch of so this is how it looks on the recruiter side, essentially. So literally like tons of fields, tons of um, conditions that they can search on, like the title, your job title, location, skills, right? If you actually are set your profile as open to work, a lot of different things like that. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, this is pretty powerful. And I wanna get out of the PowerPoint for a moment and if I can. So I guess I kind of want to show you some of what I was talking about, right? So essentially, you update your LinkedIn and stuff like that, right? You can get decent, uh, pretty decent companies reaching out, some startups, some known companies, right? Some really good companies, some known name brand companies reaching out. Um, But again, I think it starts with really having a strong profile. And I think before having a strong profile, you really got to have a strong um, experience piece, right? It literally starts at looking at one specific piece of experience. Um, yeah, and we'll go to that because I wanna actually have people like share uh, in a bit. So yeah, so essentially this is the platform here that the recruiters see called LinkedIn Recruiter, or some recruiters use LinkedIn Recruiter Lite. Um, and the main thing that we have to understand is that it's very heavily based off of keywords that we're using in our profiles, right? So we have to essentially maximize the keywords. We have to know what keywords we want to have, and have a strong overall profile, right? So I guess I like to look at keywords as anything any tool, any coding language, any technology, or any concept, right, that is relevant to whatever job or position you're trying to get that a recruiter may search or that may make your profile stand out. Right. And it's truly I think getting to the point where you have that essentially means first like knowing what are some of the top keywords you need. And then also understanding what did you actually use in your role, in your position, right? In that project that you worked on at the boot camp or in that internship that you did. What were what were the core concepts that you touched on that are relevant? What were the core tools that you use that are relevant? What were the core languages that you dealt with, right? So I think that's one of the most important things. And I've talked to like people who I've worked with individually, like Cito, Micheline, who are here in this call today. One of the first things that we did was like we went over the specific things that they worked on in their position to make sure that we actually had all the keywords that we could get, right? We wanted to really maximize everything. And then once we had it, then we were able to go update the resume, be able to update the LinkedIn, and we can continue to improve on it and add more and more and more, right? And it's a continuous thing. Phrases as well, common phrases that exist like in job descriptions, that's really, really important as well. So yeah. So this is just like an overview of some of the keywords you can be using for different types of engineering positions like software engineer, backend engineer, AI, ML engineer. You really got to know like what the recruiters are searching. I think maybe I may try to build a resource out that has like the top keywords for all of these positions. Keep an eye out for that. If I do, it'll be like next week or the week after or something like that. But maybe like the top 50 for each position or something like that, just to help save people time so they know like, oh, do I have this? Do I not have this? So yeah, just keep patient on that, guys. Um, yeah. Um, there's a few other things, I guess, like the settings that you have on your profile. That's that's one of the main things. Um, a lot of people, um, their setting is not set to, open to work. You kind of got to have that. If you don't have that, they might not reach out or they may not reach out as much. And then some people do like the green banner, all LinkedIn members, right? The green banner we have like the open to work. It's pretty much up to you whether you want to do that or not. But you just need to make sure you're visible to recruiters using LinkedIn Recruiter. Um, yeah. Having these roles, having the correct job titles is also important. The job titles that you currently have, the job titles that you'd be interested in pursuing, obviously, locations, all of this stuff. Like these are some of the basic things that got to make sure you have your settings on so recruiters can actually reach out to you. Some people do not have their settings on and they don't hear back. That's why. And then obviously you need to have like a full LinkedIn profile. Every section should be filled out. We can kind of talk about like how a little bit more, but like obviously, education, experience, um, about header, those things are really important. Yeah. So the experience section, again, want to try to use as many keywords as possible. Let me not skip over this, but the experience section is really, really important actually, because in this experience section, the starting point of it is having like a strong resume, right? Like you need to have some pretty strong bullets. And then essentially from those strong bullets, you can just pretty much copy and paste. And the most success I've seen are from people who've had maybe like a lot of internships or just a lot of different experiences. They work with a lot of different tools and they copy and paste a whole bunch of different tools and things they've worked with, and recruiters just like find them, right? So that is something like you want to make sure you have as many keywords, as many like concepts, like anything, cloud languages and tools. And then you want to make sure you're also like adding the specific skills uh, in the skills section. So you want to maximize it by having it like in the actual block and having, your skills in the skills section. Anything you can add. Really got to maximize that. Really got to maximize these job titles, right? You don't want to have, I always say software engineer, right? I don't say developer. I don't say anything like that. I usually say software engineer because that is generally what a company is going to be searching for, right? And then maybe I might specify the type, like some of the tools I've worked with, like Java. Right now, I work in Swift, so I'm only going to say software engineer working in Swift. I tend not to use, I think at Amazon, the official word is a SDE, software development engineer. I don't use that on LinkedIn because that's not how you optimize your profile, right? You use the basic terms that people would be searching for. Yeah, so that's pretty important. That section is important. The header, your header is really, really important because the header, again, you want to use something super generic where they can search for you, like software engineer, right? This is whether you have a job now or you're still looking for a job, something really, really basic. And then also listing certain tools, certain technologies that you work with. That stuff should be in the header, right? You don't have to put everything, but having a few of them in the header can help you pop up in searches. It can go a long way if they're looking for somebody doing full stack or something. So if you had like your name, software engineer, full stack, possibly like the years of experience you have. Okay, yeah, Amari, see your hand is raised.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt what you're saying. I see that you have the secure logo, like you filled out whatever you had to fill out for that. Do you suggest doing that on the regular?
Yeah, I suggest doing if you can do it because I mean it just makes the profile better. I think this was just a verification that I work at Amazon. They verified that. So if you're working somewhere, I think you can verify your work email and then they will give you a little check.
Okay, I thought that I would have to go through and get my ID card and everything. I could have swore that was the process. I saw it one time and I gave up on it. But thank you.
Maybe I don't remember actually. I don't remember, but I thought it was a company verification. I don't remember. Um, does anybody remember what this is? Maybe somebody remembers.
It would be better
I
for me.
just checked mines and I think it was the verifying process of going through and verifying with your ID and stuff on LinkedIn.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, I guess that's separate. That's separate. But I guess they verified this work email too. Um, okay. Well, yeah. I think doing that kind of stuff is always good, right?
Okay. And thank you again for that,
Yeah, thank
Mel
you.
and Michelin. Thank you.
It looks like I don't have that verification, that ID verification either, so might have to do that. Um, yeah. But yeah, thank you. Anybody have any more questions? Like anything they wanted to bring up? Okay, cool. Um, and then here's another thing that's like really critical. The way the algorithm works is kind of funny, but like every time you update your profile, um, it will, I guess, help you, right? So I recommend people updating their profile like once a week. It could be something small. It could be you like just reordering things or whatever, adding new keywords. Today I updated the about section, just added some more keywords here. And yeah, pretty much as soon as I updated, I want to say like 20 minutes later, somebody reached out about a job, right? Because that's just how the algorithm works. Um, it's kind of spooky how fast it can work. Um, but yeah, that's how fast it can work. Like you can update it and you can get somebody 20 minutes later, literally messaging you. So yeah. So I think that's kind of the main thing I wanted to talk about. Who wants to work on their profile like live or like get some suggestions on some of the stuff that they can work on?
I could.
You down?
Yeah.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Okay. Let me see. Let me see if anybody else can share. Let's see.
I have a question while you guys do that, if that's okay.
Yes.
Is there such thing as too many skills? In
I
your
think there's a
opinion?
max. I think there's a limit. No, I don't think there's too many. You can have too many skills, but I do think
Okay.
there's a limit on the actual platform itself.
Yeah, I think
Oh,
it's like 50 or a little bit more than 50 or something like that.
yeah, I think it might be like 100 or something, maybe more. Um, because I think I'm at like 97.
Mm.
Yeah, I think I'm at like or 96. So yeah. Yeah, I mean, for the most part, that's a lot. You have a lot of space to add skills. And if something, I don't think it's just about adding skills. I think it's about adding the right skills also, right? Max, are you able to share or you're not able to share?
Like share my screen.
Yeah,
I could try to share my screen right now. Just 1 second. Um,
let's see. If not, I may have to update the settings.
Not for nothing. While we're waiting for Max to see if he could get that settled. Calvin had a question in the chat.
Okay. Let's see what Calvin said. Okay, people are commenting. Thank you guys. I really appreciate it.
Sharing isn't turned on, by the way. I just try to share my screen. Just sharing is not turned on is what it's telling me.
Okay, cool. Max just has permission. I guess he just requested it. Yeah. So, all right, let me look at some of these questions. Oh, Calvin had a question about my transition. Yeah, I could talk a little bit about that. Oh, there's a lot of questions here. All right, I'm trying to think what we should talk about first. Okay, so I guess the quick synopsis, Calvin, is when I was going to college, I was studying mechanical engineering, and I essentially realized I didn't want to do that. After an internship, I worked at a plant, and I realized I didn't really like that. I didn't like plants, like a manufacturing plant, and I think it was too late though for me to switch unless I wanted to stay in college for another year and a half, and I was getting tired and it was expensive. So I decided not to go that route. And essentially, I just decided to like minor in computer science, take as many classes as I could, and do a lot of projects, do a lot of self-study, and like work with other students who were doing it. So it was really just like me transitioning into computer science through like internships, through projects, hackathons, that kind of stuff. He said, I'm currently in a career pivot. I just graduated from a full stack boot camp. Nice. Congrats on the boot camp graduation. Congrats on that. And then we have somebody named 15714. Nice to meet you, 15714. That sounds like one of Elon Musk's kids' names. They had a question: when we customize for the roles, there might be some missing tech in LinkedIn with respect to the resume. Do you think it might be an issue, or is it related to tech and experience is best? I think what you mean by this question is like if there's something that you're working on, like if there's some skills or experience, technology or something, keyword that you want to use that's not there, what do you do? I would say if you have some keyword that is not already there, you want to actually put it in the experience section, or you could just like type it out. So that's what you would go with. Cool. All right. So yeah, so Max, so we could kind of go over your profile real quick. Do you mind zooming in a little bit on the header? Awesome. So I mean, your header looks pretty good, right? Got software engineer in there. He's at Resilient Coders. He has MERN in here, Mongo, Express, Node, React, Polyglot. I would think about adding something along the lines of like if I'm a recruiter and I'm looking for somebody, I probably would search for like software engineer, full stack or something. So if you add another keyword, maybe add full stack developer, or backend developer, right? Something that kind of is a little bit more specific to the type of development that you do. Just something to think about. And yeah, that's probably the main thing I would add there. And you could also add more keywords, like if there's certain specific keywords, like anything related to cloud, I see you already have React there, so that's good. But yeah, like anything related to cloud or other like core technologies that would be used for full stack development.
Okay. Yeah, I'll definitely take that into consideration. I'll probably add the full stack one. And then as I build more skills, like integrate those.
Yeah. Or maybe front end developer. You could add both. You could add full stack, front end, back end, whatever you want to add. But they're definitely gonna be searching on those. Was there any questions you had or anything you want to go over specific or not really?
Nothing in particular. If like anything that kind of like stood out to you that was just like, oh, this is really bad or this is good or
I guess scroll down a little more. With the like about section, right?
Mhm.
I think with the about section, maybe having more of an overview, like a high level overview of the tech, like your skills, the tech stack that you've worked with, the applications you've worked with. I know like I've seen your profile before. And maybe you do mention it actually. Um, but definitely, including that kind of stuff, like possibly years of experience. And yeah, some of the technology you've worked on, that's pretty big in the about section.
Okay.
Yeah. But I like the story. I think that's good because a recruiter, if they're interested, they'll read it and they'll be like, hey, I read that, you know? And I think like that is pretty cool. But you still want to, make it tailored for the algorithm. So you can have both, you can have like a personal story and then you can have something with more keywords and just more like hard hard like metrics, like X years of experience. I know you've been in the industry for a little while, like a few years, so I would say something like that. You know, however many years of experience building applications um, for clients or for customers using such and such tools, right? Yeah.
Okay. Should I scroll down more or?
Yeah, you can scroll down. Let's see. And I know you post a lot, so that's pretty cool. I think posting definitely helps, right? It just gives you just general visibility in industry. Yeah. No, that's nice. That's nice. Reposting, like being active on the platform. Um, I didn't have time to mention to like put this in the PowerPoint, but there's like a scoring tool that LinkedIn has for profiles. So yeah, I guess I could try to look for it and send it out after, but you can see what your profile score is. And yeah, the better it is, I believe it's like some type of social score. I don't know if it's a social selling score, if it's social something. Um, but I'm sure you have a good score because you're like active and interactive on the platform.
Oh, that's good to know.
Not to give you homework and whatnot, but if you don't mind, maybe you could what a call. Look that up and pass it along, you know?
Yeah, I'll get that up. I was looking at it like last week, but I'll come back to you guys. You keep going down. Let's see. Yeah, you see, I like that. You have all the skills and stuff here. But again, even with software engineering, right? Could you like click see more?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I like you have your metrics here. It looks like you pretty much copied and pasted everything from your resume, which is good. Um, I think this is what I'm like people who are having more success, I'm kind of seeing them go down this path, just like a bunch of a bunch of the words, right? That the algorithm picks up. Um, with the skill set here, you know, I would make sure to mention all kinds of skills, like even the basic stuff, even like Git, even like Scrum, um, basic concepts, you know, full stack, you know, front end development or that kind of stuff, you know. I would make sure to specify, and then add it. The other role, like you have a role underneath, I would add skills to that. The MC Dev and Co. I would definitely add skills to that.
Okay. So that's something I'll definitely work on.
Yeah, just to maximize it out. Um, but yeah, I think it definitely, you know, definitely goes a long way, um, making those changes. And I want to see, well, you know, you keep me posted on what you're seeing when you make those changes. But I think overall, like, you know, you have a pretty good profile. Um, and I like you had is that Japanese at the top?
Yeah. It's my name in Japanese.
Nice. How do you pronounce that?
Charuzu Nisei Makusu.
Nice.
Yeah. So
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I think that probably is the main thing with that. But yeah. Does anybody else want to share? Anybody else want to go? Michelin, you want to go?
I remember Calvin and Michelin. I hope I'm saying your name right.
Micheline, but it's fine. And Max, I kind of do like that Japanese thing. It's definitely a conversation starter. I'm just thinking coffee chat wise, if I was to like reach out to you, like that's something I can mention instead of like something generic. It's like, hey, I saw whatever it is. How do you pronounce it? So that's like a really good, I like that. I was judging you before, but I like it.
I definitely love anime. So if anyone ever brought that up, I'd probably bring that. You know, chances are they
Yeah.
like it to some extent, or maybe they like languages and stuff, which is my passion as well. So
Yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna share.
Okay. And then in the meantime, let me answer some more questions. Um, um, person with the name 15714, they said they forgot to update their name. Their name is Nityashri. So happy to have you here. And if I pronounce anybody's name wrong, please correct me. Nice. And Calvin is already connected to Max and Micheline. Awesome. Okay, Ahmed had a question. How important is my current location when the recruiters are searching for software engineers to reach out to via LinkedIn? I mean, people in California, New York, Washington would have a better chance of recruiters reaching out to them just because of the location, since these locations have a lot of software openings. To be honest, I would probably say, yeah, probably. The answer is probably yes, because, California, New York, Washington. Um, I don't know. There's a section in the like open to where you can say what locations you would be open to. So you can specify more than just where you're located currently, right? So the same section where you're updating um whether you're actively looking for roles, you can specify the different places. But I do think like using terms like greater such and such area is better than just putting a city if if you can. I'm not sure where you are, Ahmed, but yeah, definitely the major cities will have more jobs. Okay, let's see. LinkedIn members who post once per week on average see up to 4 times more profile views. Nice. Members who comment get an average 3 times more views. Thanks, Calvin. Social selling index. Yes, that's what it is. And Deontay said he's in Houston. Is Houston good for tech jobs? I've been searching for almost a year now. That's a good question. I'm not 100% sure. I want to say like Houston is a hub. So it definitely is a hub. Um, I mean, I think we could do a search, right? We could do a quick search on LinkedIn Jobs or Indeed and see like are there opportunities available in Houston? Yeah. Okay, awesome. So nice. So let's take a moment. Let's look at Micheline's profile. So here we have software engineer, we have front end, we have microservices, TypeScript, React, React Native, Node.js, JavaScript. I think that's pretty good. If there's anything else that we could add, maybe full stack, right? Maybe something that a recruiter would search for. But I like TypeScript, React, React Native, Node.js, JavaScript. That's critical if you are a front end developer, front end engineer. That's really important. Also, maybe something, possibly something related to cloud or something related to APIs could help as well. Um, or SOC, even help desk. Awesome. Okay, you could go down. And I see you got the verification. So you already know. Oh, here's another thing. Go scroll up a bit. Click show details where it says open to work. Or below that, below that. Yeah, show details. And it says job title, software engineer, software developer, right? I do think this is important where updating like the type of roles you would be open to. Deontay just made a comment saying, he's been looking for any type of analyst or SOC role, even help desk, I think there's value in actually adding the other roles that you'll be interested in your job titles. So somebody could at least, you have something in your profile that says a different position that you're looking for. If you would be willing to take a different job at the moment, right? So there's a lot of different jobs. Like some people would be willing to take an IT position at the moment, right? Or some people would be willing to take a more customer facing role, like sales engineer, solutions architect, something where there's a little bit more communication, right? And I think these types of positions should be um, in the job title or as far as like something you're open to. And then if you could put it in your profile, I think that would be helpful too, right? If you could put in your keywords, like put some of those roles that you're interested in as well in the keywords. Cool. Thank you. But open to work, that's set up correct. You could go back and we'll go down. All right, let's keep going down. Oh, could you slide? Oh, no, never mind. Never mind. That was just me zoomed in. Yeah, again, I like here you have Boston-based open relocation. You have your technologies in here. Again, you have a cool story about your background, the industry you used to be in, customer service and stuff like that. I do think that adding, again, saying like, hey, I'm a kind of like on your resume in your summary section, right? Where it's like, I have worked at, X company and this company, working on blah, blah, blah team in these tools. Or yeah, kind of like what we did in the summary section for your resume. Um, just to give a better, like, quick synopsis on the experience you have, um, and what you've done. And then I would definitely add like full stack developer or front end developer here as well. The about section to me, you can maximize it, right? You can list you can literally like copy and paste, the skills section on your resume to an extent, right? Because, why not? Um, People always ask, like, how long should my resume be? In LinkedIn, your resume can be like I mean, as long as it's readable, as long as it doesn't look crazy, but it could be until you run out of characters. Yeah. So I think that's good. And then possibly like, uh, if you want, maybe list some of the other jobs you'd be open to potentially. So yeah. And then I like that you post. I see that you post. Okay. Yeah, you keep going down. And then boom, here again, I like this too, right? You have your actual resume in here. I think we added all the keywords that we could. I think we added all the keywords that we could, but if not, definitely more keywords, like down to like get in some of the basic stuff that is we just take for granted. That stuff that will, be helpful in your uh keywords skills section. One of the things that I would actually think about doing, go up a little bit in some of the experiences is just like repeating, like for Hack Diversity Fellow, right? I would consider repeating some of the keywords in the actual bullet. Like if you added another bullet of like, oh, worked with these tools, right? Um, and then scroll up again. Let me see a little bit. Software engineer. Yeah, I like that. Software engineer. This says Hack Diversity Fellow. Um, okay. I do, I prefer like if you added like software engineer fellow or hack diversity fellow, maybe. You don't have to. Um, you don't have to, but yeah, you keep going down. Yeah, I like that all of these say software engineer, right? It's to the point. If you want, you can do like a dash full stack or dash front end or something like that, just to be a little bit more clear. Um, yeah. And then you got the education. Yeah, I like the skills and the education. I definitely like that. And you have some projects. Yeah. Yeah, again, same thing with the projects, right? We didn't go over projects with Max, but I would add these keywords. I would add way more keywords in the actual um bullets of the projects. Yeah, cool. Yeah, no, I think for the most part, I think that's good, but just, a few changes that could help out a lot, a good bit.
And then I do like, well, I was asking about the skills because I was looking while you were talking, like one of my skills is like communication. Is that like a given? Or, I mean, I haven't hit the 100 mark yet, so I have plenty of skills to deal with. But is listening communication as a skill kind of basic, or can I do without it?
I don't think it's gonna hurt, right?
Okay,
On a resume, maybe, but on LinkedIn,
since I
not
have all
really.
this space to work with, it should be okay.
Yeah,
Cool. All right, stop sharing. Thank you.
awesome. Thank you. And we have some more questions. Um, Deontay had a question. What are your thoughts on Oracle's new race to certification 2025? I say this like just like I say with everything, right? I don't really know what Oracle's race to certification is. Um, Anybody have more context on that? But yeah,
Yeah, I can give more context. Right now, Oracle is from now until the 31st, they're giving on their platform. I actually have it open. You can study their cloud infrastructure, their data, their AI, and their multi-cloud. You can get certified for free until October 31st
wow.
in
Yeah,
their systems. So yeah,
interesting.
you get the free digital training and then you get certifications and whatever, as long as you keep like earning the points and rewards as you do. But yeah, that's basically what it is.
Got it. Yeah, I mean, I think that stuff is good, right? I think now is the best time if you're not working right now, you're trying to figure out what's next. Like now, like it's fun because everybody's trying to figure out stuff, right? Even people in the industry who are working. I had a conversation this week with somebody at Google who's been in the industry for over 10 years, who he had a conversation. He's like, man, what should I be learning? What do I need to learn next? Right? Top companies, top people at top companies. And I think the best thing is you should be learning something, right? So you can't really go wrong with learning anything, getting a new certification, learning about the cloud. I will say, I think it's better to have less if you actually care about it or you think you're going to use it in the future. Um, if I had to choose between Oracle or like Azure, I would probably choose like Azure or I'm sorry, yeah, I would probably choose like Azure or AWS if I had to. But if you have the time to learn like a bunch of different stuff, do that. Or maybe you really like Oracle. Maybe you really want to work with Oracle. Because maybe you want to do more like IT related work, then that might be a route for you. And I might have a question. Apart from recruiters reaching out via LinkedIn, can you please share strategies you think will be most effective while we from our end are doing search for software jobs, doing what we see below? Apply via referral. Yeah, I think applying via referral is like really, really powerful. Um, but I think people should not just try to like you shouldn't think a referral is enough. You kind of need somebody to vouch for you in the company. Um, you need somebody who can like message a recruiter and be like, hey, I had a conversation with Max. I had a conversation with Ahmed, and they can message the recruiter. It goes a long way. Um, yeah, that's kind of the better way to do it, right? Because the recruiter, if I'm an engineer, I have more time than a recruiter. Um, so like I can have a conversation with you, and then I could message somebody internally, and they could see what they can do, maybe try to move you forward or not. Um, yeah. Someone had a question about reaching out to recruiters or engineering managers via LinkedIn DMs. I think this is a great strategy. I think that is a really good strategy. I think you got to be willing to like not get too many responses. You have to be comfortable with that because engineers will hit you back. Engineering managers, yeah, those guys, they don't really respond as much. I'm just I thought recruiters didn't respond. I feel like engineering managers do not respond. I think an engineering manager actually responded to me once, and then I think he asked me like, "Hey, what do you want to talk about?" And I was just like, "I want to talk about the company." And then I think he ghosted me after that. Like after he was like at least he responded. I was happy that he responded. Um, so yeah, if you can get on the phone with engineering managers, with recruiters and engineering managers, that's always good. Um, but you got to just send out like a lot of messages. And there's actually tools that can help you automate those processes if that's a route you want to go down. Um, Cold emailing recruiters and engineering managers. I haven't done this personally, but I have heard that this is a really good strategy because it's like an old strategy. The thing is you have to find the email, right? If you can find enough emails, maybe it'll work, right? But you got to find the email. Um, yeah. So I think it might be easier to try to like get connected to somebody who could plug you into somebody else. Um, like trying to reach out to an engineer or anybody, right? You could reach out to a few managers, you could reach out to a few recruiters, you could reach out to a few engineers if there's a specific company you want to go to and just, you know, social, what do they call that? Social hacking, where you just try to work your way to whoever you need to get to, like one at a time, is definitely a better route if you really care about the company. Okay, I'm trying to look at any other questions. Does anybody want to share, or we can wrap it up in a minute actually, because it's getting late. I like to include communication as a skill personally, since I saw you used to work at a remote. Okay, let's see if there's any more questions. And then I'm gonna wrap up this presentation. Amari said, put communication on that thing. On the LinkedIn. Do it. Okay.
Yeah, she said she worked in customer service too, so I think that'll be perfect for her.
Yeah, I agree.
Let people know I know how to speak to people.
And then Max had a question, as your experience gets longer than a page, should you pick and choose what you put on a specific experience on LinkedIn? Would it be more like as long form CV? I think LinkedIn's can be long, right? I think that's the value of LinkedIn over a resume, actually. You can put more information on a LinkedIn than you can on a resume. Um, Obviously, if you have something that's just not related, I would not put it, right? Like, I don't know. Like if you know what I mean? Like, yeah, or just be careful the way you put it. Like if you're, transitioning and you're like in retail, you're just in like a different industry, be careful how you put that on your LinkedIn. Somebody said he's been left on red. Yeah. Did some quick research on a person's profile and customized email from cold to warm email helps. Yeah, I do think having a customized email does help, but it takes a while.
Oh, you mean the pasta?
Hey, do you guys, there's a few people on mute. Adewale, You have any questions you want to bring up or any comments you want to bring up?
Yeah, I'm good. I didn't know I was off mute. It's fine. Okay. Well, actually, I got a question.
Okay.
Sorry, you can go now. I joined late, so I probably missed this. What's your best strategy in current job market to get an internship? Not like this is like you're trying to pivot to a different area of tech. An example is AI infrastructure engineer, and you have experience as a software engineer. So what's the best strategy to get an internship right there?
I think one of the best strategies to get an internship is there's all these programs. Well, first off, like you got to be ready. You got to like prepare yourself for the internship, A. So you want to make sure like you are preparing for the interview and that kind of stuff, right? And then I would say B, I would say if you're in school, if you're in college, there's all these programs that exist where you can learn, you can network, right? You can be a part of an organization, based on ethnicity or based on a community you're a part of. So I recommend like being a part of those organizations like Nesby, Color Stack, what other things? There's like Code 2040.
Oh, nice. I think
There's a lot of,
I joined them recently. So
yeah. I think those people in those programs, um, they have a big network and you can get more personalized attention. So you don't have to go through LinkedIn as much to
yeah,
try to meet people who are in the industry who can kind of give a referral or who can look out for your resume or even like info sessions with companies, right?
yeah.
So yeah, I would definitely go down that route. I would go to the career fairs. I would try to get a job early. And yeah, that's the route that I would go to. I would go down. Um, Obviously, have a good profile, have a good LinkedIn profile, but definitely take advantage of all the programs that you can in college. CodePath is a great organization. They do a lot of free stuff. Um, yeah, I would join organizations so you can expand your network.
Yeah. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, I'll put a few of them. We got Nesby, we have CodePath, we have ColorStack, uh, Code 2040. There's a lot of I'm gonna be making some resource sheet eventually that people can take advantage of. Real quick, I just want to finish this presentation real quick, wrap it up, and we can get out of here. I know it's getting late. So yeah. All right. So definitely got to make sure you're updating this profile, right? The more you update the profile, it does something with the algorithm. I don't know. It helps people reach out. Like I updated my profile last week, and I think two people reached out. And one of the people that reached out was like 20 minutes after I updated it. Did the same thing today. Somebody reached out to me today. Um, I will say like I can't promise that like it's gonna be a company that you're interested in, right? Um, it may be like a company you never heard of or a startup or just something you don't want to do or you don't have the skills for, right? But I think the idea is like you want to get to a point where companies are coming to you, organizations are coming to you, and the more you get into your career, you'll see it more, right? The more years of experience you have, people will come to you more, and you don't have to apply as much, which is really cool. Um, but definitely reaching out to like set up calls with people helps a lot too. And then when recruiters do message you, you want to make sure you respond. Always try to respond. I think uh there may be something in the algorithm where, and I'll get back to you on this, but there may be some in the algorithm where if you don't respond, they might not set you up as like the more likely person to respond. Um, and obviously recruiters feel the same way to an extent, right? They don't like being ghosted either. So yeah. Just, respond, be positive, be nice. If you're not interested, let them know or just say, "Hey, can we come back? Can we revisit this in a few months?" If you are, schedule a meeting. Give them, if they want your resume, give them the resume. And then the other thing I'll say is like, you don't have to just use LinkedIn, right? Like I think people should be building profiles on other platforms. You should have a profile on Indeed, a good one, a strong one, right? I think start with LinkedIn and like maybe copy and paste everything. Like once you have that profile, you know all the skills, you know everything. It's easier for you to build that Indeed profile to ZipRecruiter, Dice, whatever. But you want to be everywhere, right? This is how people did it before back in the days, and they worked. They got calls. Um, some people, literally getting phone calls, 10 phone calls a day. You can't be mad at that. Somebody telling you, "Hey, I want to pay you six figures." It's worth it setting it up, right? And making sure you update it, right? Okay, so you have an interview. You did what you're supposed to do. You handle business. You have an interview now. Now you have an interview. Now you have new problems, right? You have new problems. Um, Interviews, whether some of you guys have interviewed for like software roles or related technology roles, they can be difficult. They can have a lot of different rounds. Right now, the bar is pretty high for interviewing, right? They're not, there's less room for error, I'll say, right? And you have to truly prove you're the right person for the job. Um, yeah, right. I think this is something that is big, and I know a lot of people are, even if they are getting interviews, it might take them some months, to successfully get through the interview process, well, right? Which is normal. It's normal. So I did want to put this plug in here. Like interviews require practice, right? You really got to practice. You really got to prepare. Building a strong resume is the best starting point because you kind of learn. You have to reflect on all your experiences. You have to know all your selling points as an engineer. And I wanted to plug. So at FiveJump, we are going to be having a cohort. We don't have a date on this yet, but we're going to be doing a cohort to really develop people into being ready for these interviews. Um, and this is geared, I mean, this can definitely be for entry people, but it's definitely going to be geared for more, you know, mid as well. So you're going to be learning the skills that what mid-level engineers are going to have to go through. And I think it's harder to be entry level right now because there's less positions for entry level. Um, so building the skills that, mid-level and senior people have, that's what this program is about. We're gonna have senior engineers at companies like Amazon talking about how to think in an interview or how to think in general as an engineer. We'll be going over like system design, behavioral interviews. We're going to be bringing in recruiters. We're going to be bringing in industry professionals. And the biggest thing we're going to be doing is we're going to go over communication, right? I think a lot of times we mess up in interviews just because we practice at home, we practice by ourselves, we practice with ChatGPT only. And it's like you have to practice speaking to a human being, and being comfortable with that, right? I think that's when you tend to perform better in interviews, when you can communicate very well in the interviews and problem solve on the fly in communication. So yeah, so if this is something you're interested, this is going to be a paid thing, by the way. Um, I don't have like too many details yet because we're still figuring this out. Um, but it's going to be a great program where we actually see people, you know, get the job, which is it's not easy right now. It's not easy, but getting interviews that's number one. So once we get there, we're going to be going over that too in this program. We'll be helping people to make sure people's resumes are strong, make sure people's profiles are strong and all of that. So yeah, I can email everybody after this who I can email anybody who'd be interested. Or sorry, I'll send out an email where you can like let me know if you would be interested in our program that we're gonna have coming up, and I'll have more details then. So yeah, that's about it. Anybody have questions? Yeah.
Yeah, I have a question.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, so I've been doing a little bit of research on the social selling index. I was wondering kind of like do you have like an idea of how important this metric is and like what's maybe a good requirement, a good baseline for the social selling index? Like what's a good number to have as an engineer?
I'm gonna get back to you on that. I want to say a good number was like, yeah, I honestly I don't remember. I think like if you have like 20 or something, I think 20 is good, but I don't remember.
I can give you some. I can kind of like quote some stuff. I'm looking at like my SSI right now. It's saying people in my industry. It says sales professionals in software development have on average have a 33 out of 100 on the SSI, right? And then people in my network have a 34 average SSI. So that's just some examples there.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get back to you on that question. I'm not gonna lie.
Okay.
I'll get back to you on that. Even like improving your score, um, we can have that in another session. I'm probably gonna do more of these kinds of sessions if you guys want. Um, but yeah, I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Good question though. Thanks. Does anybody have a question that I could hopefully I'll have an answer for the next question?
Yeah, just can I ask one question real quick?
Most definitely.
All right,
How's it going, Alpha?
so thank you for doing this, honestly. My question was on the cohort that you want to design as far as like the communication part when it comes to the on-site and stuff like that. I wanted to ask, is it just gonna be Amazon, like for example, you said there's going to be a senior engineer from Amazon and recruiters. I was wondering if there's going to be maybe other engineers from like other companies, just so we can get different ideas in terms of like when you're on an on-site interview, what are they really looking from the candidate? Like, well, you get what I'm saying? Like, what are they kind of like? What are the key points they judging you on, because it's very difficult, typically when you get rejected you never get a feedback, rightfully so, but I was wondering if you had that also in mind to kind of help us get like a variety of understanding, like because we know right now the job market is like the competition is crazy.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's one of the questions I wanted to ask.
Wait, so you're asking, are we gonna have engineers from different companies helping out?
Yeah, so basically, is there gonna be like maybe companies, for example, maybe engineers from like startups, like how they, for example, interview over there, not necessarily tell us what are they looking for, but basically go over like, hey, if I have a candidate in front of me, this, these are the steps, because sometimes one of the thing that I've noticed is that, you might go over the interviews and then, you fail, you learn, but it seems like even if you improve a little bit, there's still not, you don't find that helpful enough to help you kind of like go over the hump. Regardless of the size of the company, it could be a brand name, it could be a mid-size, because right now, like you said, the bar is high. Like that's what I've noticed. The bar is very, very high right now. But I think, yeah, I think kind of like having a little bit of an idea of like, hey, I like the fact that you mentioned communication will be a good point, because I know communication is pretty important when you're in a like 45-minute interview. Time goes fast. And also the reason why I'm asking that question, I know I'm going on a tangent here, apologies for that, the reason why I'm asking also for that is there isn't a lot of opportunities. So the goal is that with the few opportunities that all of us are going to be getting because of the way the job market is, how can we maximize doing those interviews to be like beyond the preparation that we'll be having. So that's
Yeah. Yeah, I think one of the main things for this program, so yeah, we're definitely gonna have engineers from different companies at least come out some of the time, right? It might not be there like every week, but at least some of the time just to share some advice. One of the main factors that we want to have though is we want to have like peer uh interviewing prep, right? Where it's like you're actually, I think I was telling somebody this the other day, right? I don't know who here like went to an in-person boot camp or went to college computer science degree in person. And lately, the way we've been studying for interviews generally is at home by ourselves, learning on our own. And that is not how, for me, that's not how I learned computer science initially. And that's not how I learned in school. And a lot of people, that's not how they learn in school. They didn't learn by being at home by themselves, right? They learned going to office hours, going to class, being in study groups with their friends, asking questions, being around other people. And I think it may be harder, but I think because it's harder, you have to kind of look back and ask like, hey, well, maybe we're learning wrong, or maybe there's a better way we can be learning. So I think that is a big part of it. Um, yeah. And I think as far as companies not hiring, I don't think that's necessarily true. I think companies are hiring. I just got off a call with a company. They said they're hiring like 250 engineers, and this is not a big the company, this is Upstart. And I didn't even know what they did. Apparently they do some type of lending company, some type of lending. I thought it was Upwork. I thought I was talking to Upwork. It was Upstart. And so companies are hiring. Um, they're definitely hiring, right? We went to some of the people in this call were at Render Conference, which is a technology conference that was in Atlanta. And there were companies saying similar things. Hey, we want to hire hundreds of people. Um, I'm not talking even about like the big tech companies. So there's still companies hiring. Um, it may be less, but they're hiring. So I wouldn't be worried about that. I don't know if that answers your question. Uh,
yeah, no, thank you. Yeah, pretty much, yeah.
Thanks for asking. Good question. Anybody else have any questions or any topics they want to bring up? This is my social index. Yeah. Again, I don't know how there may be a way to bring this up, but I would take his score with a grain of salt, you know? Yeah. Was there anything anybody else want to bring up, or we're gonna get out of here? Um, Great session. I wonder if we're gonna be able to save the chat, or if we're gonna lose everything. Great session. Thank you guys. Awesome. I'll be here. I'll stay for a few minutes if anybody had any more questions, if they want to ask it. Um, but yeah, I really enjoyed this. I hope you guys got a lot from it. There are jobs out there. I know it seems like there might not be a lot, but there's definitely a lot of jobs. It's a big, it's a big country. There's always some type of opportunity. I think sometimes the question is like maybe in the moment there may be another job that may be easier to get that's like not engineering, or that is engineering and like slash something else, right? And that could be a route for a lot of people. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, no more questions, no more comments. Awesome. Yeah, I appreciate you guys. You guys on the East Coast. I'm on the West Coast, so it's still early here. I've sunlight. I'm about to go outside and do something. But yeah, thank you guys. Y'all enjoy the rest of your day.
You too.
Thank you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for this. Have a
Thank
good
you.
night.
You too. Thank you.